a senior moment, we'll just say that. I was home watching TV, drinking a cup of coffee. And I won't say what I said, but it was like, oh darn. So, and Coley talked to me about that, about my missed meeting.
Well, I'll let you have it.
I'll go.
When I need to be.
Here's a big stick.
Pretty good, how are you?
Chris, you're not saying much. Nothing to say?
You're staying out of it. I don't want to jinx this, but looking good. So,
Right. It's Colin. Yes. Are you there? Okay. We got one. No, they come in waves. If you got Microsoft ones, you got them already, but if you got Dells, you haven't gotten them yet. Oh, did you? Oh, I was heard December. Really? I haven't gotten my Dells yet. Is that all you got, was Dells? You got everything? Did you go into that website and tell them you did? Better. You don't want to get your hand slapped.
Call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could the clerk please call the roll of the council?
Denny Bell,
Here.
Curtis Shares,
Here.
David Bishop,
Here.
Craig Wright, Todd Rolfson.
We have a quorum tonight. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying no. Motion carries. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Denny made the motion. Are you seconding, Todd?
Sure.
Any discussion? That'd be a roll call vote.
Bell,
Yes.
Shares,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Rolfson.
Yes.
That motion passes. Then we have a public hearing on amending the budget for fiscal year 2021-2022. Do we have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed signify by saying no. Motion to open the public hearing passes. Have we received any oral or written objections?
We have not.
Then I'll open the floor to the public. If you want to address the council, please go to the podium and state your name and address. Seeing no one, I'd ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying no. Motion to close the public hearing passes. This is primarily for the purchase of the fire truck is why we're doing this so early. Any other comments from the council?
Could Coley or somebody go through the line here, I mean, just kind of walk through the intergovernmental and miscellaneous? That has everything to do with the fire truck, is that my understanding then?
Yeah, I believe that's the two line items. I amended about, not even 10 lines. The major ones is for the fire truck. I amended for the ambulance, because I think we're gonna get that purchased in this fiscal year also. And then I also amended because we received the donation money for the fire truck. And then another big one that I amended for was the money we received for the American Rescue Plan Act, the ARPA money. So them were the big ones. A couple of little ones I amended was just a couple line items for RAGBRAI, the revenues and expenses that went along with RAGBRAI. But the big ones were the fire truck and the ambulance.
Done.
If there's no other questions, do we have a motion to approve the resolution adopting the budget amendment?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Rolfson,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Shares,
Yes.
Bell.
That resolution passes. Now we have citizens input. Is there anyone here that'd like to address the council? Yes, please.
My name is Carolyn Hackwell, 2447 7th Street. I just want to congratulate you guys. I got back on the council again. And I've already texted Chris once, but I just hope there's more transparency. When we have council meetings, you talk about prices of things and what you're paying for change orders and stuff like that. And I think we as citizens have a right to know we're paying it. And I think it would just be nice just to have a little more information about those, or what your change orders are for, the amounts and things like that. And I want to say, Chris, I appreciate everything you've put on Facebook about the activities in town. I think that's very good, and I think a lot of people read it. And I see at the school the other night, Sunday night, you had volleyball. Is it volleyball?
Yep, that was part of the community rec program.
Yeah. See, and I think that's nice. Otherwise, we have no idea what's going on. But I just think that's very good. And my third question is, and we don't know anything about it yet, but if the Citizen Herald closes, where will you post the council meetings, minutes, and things like that? Who knows, huh? Independence? Probably.
Yeah, it would have to go to Independence.
Or the, would the Wapsie, is it the Wapsie, no, what's it, not the Wapsie Reminder, what's it called? The Reminder? Some of
That's
them are in
part of
there.
it. Isn't that part of
I
the,
think that's part of
that's part of the Independence Bulletin Journal?
It's still part of that.
Yeah.
Okay, those are my only questions, but congratulations, you guys, and I hope we have a good 2 years. Thank you.
Carolyn. Anyone else? We'll move on to departmental reports. Any questions from the council or any department heads have anything to add?
I thought the library report was very, very well written. They've been busy.
If there's nothing else, we'll move on to old business. We have a resolution approving payment number 1 for the drainage ditch improvements project. This would be to Hudson Hardware in the amount of $20,254. This was the pay request that got tabled at the last meeting because we didn't have enough.
We took we took the conservative approach under the theory that one member had a conflict. I've now double checked the code and that member does not have a conflict because this was competitively bid and was accepted under the conflicts code section specifically.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Bell,
Yes.
Bishop,
Yes.
Rolfson,
Yes.
Shares.
Yes.
That resolution passes. And under new business, we have a resolution approving payment number 2 for the drainage ditch improvements project. This is for $77,972.77. This is for work that's been completed since the project before, or since our last council meeting. Mike, do you have anything to say on the status of that project? Happy with everything?
And if we can get the rain to hold out, we would be much further along at this point. But no, everything seems to be coming together pretty good. Got a few tile issues we gotta straighten out, but other than that, I think we're doing pretty good on schedule.
We have a motion to approve that resolution.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Shares,
Yes.
Rolfson,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Bishop.
Yes.
That resolution passes. Then we have a resolution entering into mutual aid agreement and paramedic intercept agreement with American Medical Response. This is the company that took over Independence.
I reviewed both these agreements. I also met both of my requests to remove the reciprocal indemnification provision. Basically, they had a provision there that said that we had to indemnify them and hold them harmless if anybody got sued. So they appropriately removed that both times. I'm double checking right now. So
Do you look for much change?
Not really so far. They're staffed about equally the same. Full, we're looking to hire more paramedics still. I think currently have one full-time paramedic crew.
Okay.
Otherwise, there's second rigs set up just like us, volunteer base.
That's
went
a-
over there.
isn't that a-
That's very,
Pretty large company.
very large.
That's what I thought.
Their AMR is even under GMR. What I understand is the entire United States.
Oh, really?
They're just other side companies underneath them. That's why this is a 4-page shindig. Usually they're just a 2-page,
Okay, again,
much simpler.
they were easy to work with,
That's
so,
good.
Good.
which tells me either everybody asked for those provisions to be removed, or that's why they did that, is my guess.
And we did split this into 2 different agreements. We have our regular mutual aid agreement, then we have a separate agreement if we need a paramedic. If there's no other questions on that, do we have a motion for that, to approve that resolution?
I'd make a motion to approve it.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? A roll call vote?
Bishop,
Yes.
Rolfson,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Sheriff.
Yes. That resolution passes. Next on the agenda, we have 2 proposals for banking services. I assume you probably want to address the council. You wanna-
It's not
Just
required.
short, yeah, we don't need a whole lot. We have the proposals in the council packet.
Angie Savers, do I need my address? Branch manager down here at the Farmer State Bank. Just want to thank you for the continued service and support these past few years. I know Coley and I have worked through things and scanner issues and still working through that, but I think all in all things have worked out pretty seamlessly, and we're always here to help support you guys and anything that you guys need and anything that the community needs. You know, we're always here, and yeah, I guess that's what I got. Any questions on the proposal? Anything that you guys have questions
Can you
on?
touch on just our current agreement that we have with you and why our interest rates
Yeah,
low?
so basically what happened, we were in that 3-year contract, and our rate is based on the CMT index, which is variable, and it can be variable. The good thing about using that is that it's not just what we come up with. It's not just, Farmer State Bank doing a rate. It's based on the actual CMT increase, which can change daily. So as rates go up, your rate's gonna go up. Rates go down, yes, rates will go down. Rates are very, very low right now. Just kind of the economy that we're in, obviously everybody knows that. We have done that floor. So as you can see in our proposal, we are willing to do that 0.37 for the interest rate, and that will be our floor as well. We're not gonna go below that. So hopefully right now that'll work, and then as interest rates start to go up, we are very happy to continue increasing that based on that CMT index rate.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hello, I am Jade Messingham, and I am the retail banking manager for Bank Iowa, and I think it's pretty evident that both financial institutions have a great relationship with members of the community of Jessup. So I can tell you a little bit about our proposal. It is tiered, and it is variable. We all hope rates are going to go up. It's a strange environment we're in right now, just like everything else. We have a tier for the checking account in which we will work with the city to make sure that your balances in that checking account are at a level that we're going to offset any fees, and we're going to do that. The account has an earnings credit, which can be used to offset the fees. In addition to that, it will have the interest that will accrue on the account. And then we have the money market account that will be tied to the checking account, in which those rates are just a little bit higher, and we'll work with the city so that you can earn the maximum that you can while offsetting fees. Any questions about the proposal? comments?
Pretty quiet tonight.
Do I
Put you on the spot.
Obviously, we've been with Farmer State Bank for the last 3-some years. I will tell you, it's not fun to transfer banks, go from one to the other. I've done it twice now so far. So, the one thing that I really like is to only have one account versus a checking account and a savings account. That is no fun to have two. We have one account right now. So, based on the proposals, you know, I think Farmer State Bank has a little bit higher floor. You know, you can't go below a certain interest rate, so. Questions? I know this is no fun for anybody because they're both local banks and, you know, obviously, you know, we don't want to make the other bank mad, but, or whatever, but. Yeah.
Tina and I
So-
are kicked about the same.
I'd like to be there for the next one.
We currently do not have any fees at all with Farmer State Bank. I will say that. So anything that happens as far as like a return check, or ordering, I don't know what all there's fees for. Ordering deposit slips, you know, we don't have any fees for any of that, so that's obviously nice.
As I read through them, it looked to me like the big difference was in the floor of the .37. I don't know how much that adds up to a year, but I'm sure it's worth consideration, so.
Yeah, I looked today, we're at 0.15 right now. So, you know, if we go from that to 0.37, that's a pretty big jump.
Right.
You know, or with Bank Iowa, it would be what, 0.3? 0.3. So,
6 in the money market.
and if you, yeah. Way different than 3 and some years ago when it was 2.6%. We were all kind of ecstatic then, and it didn't last. I've of course worked with both banks and they're both great to work with. I'm not gonna say one's better than the other, so. I will say the biggest challenge when you switch banks is we have so many things that come into the bank automatically and go out of the bank automatically, that we have to now contact each one of them and get new banking information. So that's what I guess was what I meant when I said it's no fun to switch banks, because we have so many things come in and out automatically. So. Get a new debit card. We don't have debit cards.
No, I know, I'm saying for personal use, like everything comes out of it.
Oh, yes, yes.
Spend 4 hours on every website.
Right,
changing.
right, same concept. Yes. So,
Based on that, I'd make a motion that we stay with Farmer State Bank.
Do we have a second to that?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? do a roll call vote.
I didn't hear his vote, his motion.
To stay with Farmer State Bank.
Bishop,
Yes, just mainly, if I might, just because of the changing of everything, that could be very time consuming, you know, getting records transferred over and everything.
Bell,
Yes.
Shares,
Yes.
Rolfson.
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes. I'd like to thank both banks for submitting the proposal.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have the first reading of an ordinance deleting subsection 7 of chapter 5.06 regarding meeting work sessions. Do you want to speak, or do you want me to?
It's totally up to you.
So,
You have an odd, I shouldn't say odd, I'm sorry.
different.
There is a different portion in your notice of public meetings, that simply required an additional posting for work sessions, but you're already governed under open meetings requirements to post for work sessions. So, we did also.
This was probably added like 4 years ago. We used to have regular meetings and special meetings. Regular meetings were the first and third Monday, and then anything else was a special meeting. Well, then they added a different type of meeting, which was a work session. And I think that was so the council didn't take action at a work session, and it specifically says that in the ordinance. But we've had work sessions at regular and special council meetings when we do budget or we're talking about projects. And apparently that wording gets confusing. We did have a complaint filed with the Iowa Public Information Board that we had a work session at a regular meeting. And the complaint was dismissed.
Not
Or-
technically dismissed yet.
What-
It's scheduled to be
Well,
dismissed
yeah,
this
scheduled to be
Thursday.
dismissed, sorry.
Yeah.
But just to make everything clear, I'd like to just take that work session completely out of the ordinance and go back to regular and special meetings, and we'll have a work session just as an agenda item if we need it.
Say it's fair to say that.
So
What, Todd, sorry?
work sessions cannot be a part of, regular council meeting going forward.
No, they can be.
That would,
And they really, they could be even the way it's written now, but arguably, it could be interpreted two different ways. So what I was gonna say is, I think it's fair to say that the IPIB complaint brought it to my attention to say to the mayor, what was the purpose behind this? Why did you even have it, since you're required to post notice for work sessions anyway? And I can't come up with an articulable reason as to why you would carve it out differently. So in order to clean it up, I recommended to the mayor that we might as well go ahead and remove this, because it adds another layer to your notice requirement that you just don't need, quite frankly.
so
you
if
could-
we wanted a separate work session, we could call a special meeting, and our agenda item would just say work session, whatever we're working on.
You
We'd
have
still
to
be able to
notice-
have the work
right.
session and
You
still
still be able to
notice
have the
it.
work session, you still have to notice it under all the requirements for open meetings requirements. You can either do it special as a standalone event and provide notice, or you can add it to an existing council meeting if you want, as long as you provide notice.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Bell,
Yes.
Rolfson,
Yes.
Shares,
Yes.
Bishop.
Yes.
Do we want to waive second and third reading?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Bishop,
Yes.
Rolfson,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Shares.
Yes.
The motion to waive second and third pass. Do we have a motion for final adoption of the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Rolfson,
Yes.
Shares,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Bishop.
Yes.
Motion for final adoption passes. The next on the agenda, we have change order number 2 for the 6th Street Improvements Project, Phase 2. Mark, do you wanna go over that?
Sure.
Mark Durbin with AECom, and I'm here to address the change order and final paperwork for the 6th Street reconstruction project and the EMS parking lot project. Tonight is the last piece of paperwork for this project, and in front of you tonight is a change order, which would be the final adjustment of all of the quantities. This is typically what we do with final paperwork, is to make sure that items that were actually constructed at the time of construction match the contract amounts. So this is kind of like an adjustment to what was done by the contractor. So for example, if the sidewalk was, we called for a certain length on the plans, the actual measured amount in the field was a little bit more, so this adjusts those items. There are a few items that are a little bit more substantial that I just want to point out. For example, one of them is the sidewalk reconstruction. We did have a little bit more sidewalk, particularly on Stevens Street, going to the west, and that was to the extension of the driveway and the sidewalk in that direction. We also had some additional water main work, and that was particularly in the Stevens 6th Street intersection. So that was another substantial amount that was an adjustment to the contract items. And so with those, that's the change order, and then the release of retainage. So on this contract, we had retained 5% of the contract value for retainage to ensure that all of the contract items were satisfied. And based on inspection by AECom and assistance by the city of Jessup, we accept and recommend that the project be accepted at this time. So at this time, I'll open the floor to questions.
Yeah, definitely the water main extension was definitely a cost that, I said from the beginning, I had no idea what was going on underneath there. Well, really looking in a lot more, we need to tear out. So yeah, so the newer section needs to be added. Fortunately, it was underneath the sidewalk, not in between the sidewalk and curb, so we got to replace the sidewalk too. Yeah, unforeseen cost, but totally necessary.
There's nothing else. Do we have a motion to approve change order number 2 for the 6th Street Improvements Project? This would be for an additional $17,933.40.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? Roll call vote?
Bishop,
Yes.
Shares,
Yes.
Rolfson,
Yes.
Bell.
Yes.
That motion passes. And we have a resolution accepting improvements, 6th Street Improvements Project, Phase 2. Do we have a motion for that?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Bishop,
Yes.
Rolfson,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Shares.
Yes.
And then we have a resolution approving pay request number 5 for the 6th Street Improvements Project. This is for $31,878.70. Do we have a motion to approve that resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Bell,
Yes.
Rolfson,
Yes.
Shares,
Yes.
Bishop.
Yes.
That resolution passes. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed signify by saying no. We're adjourned at 7:30. Thank you.